Hello right bags, it's Jade Plays Games. Welcome to the Access Show. Today is the 8th of August. It's 5 PM every single day, 5 PM, taking a look at early access games, new games, updates for your favourite games. Today we're going to be taking a bit more of an in-depth look at PUBG. Don't worry, it isn't really PUBG is dying video. Well, maybe, sort of. They've announced they're fixing PUBG. In fact, they've set up a website and they've got a whole 3 months program, maybe longer, of optimizing, bug fixing and basically getting the game running up to scratch. It's one of the biggest long-time complaints about PUBG. Ever since it came out of early access, it's just still been a bit of an unoptimized mess. So, what are they doing about it? And really, will it save the game? I know that seems simply said because it hasn't really needed saving because it's still doing really well, but it is lagging behind. I'm going to show you some reasons why, I'm going to show you some stats, and we're going to generally talk about the general health of PUBG compared to other stuff and its future. Okay, you know your game's got problems when you've got to dedicate a complete brand new website into fixing it. That's what's happened with PUBG. Over the last 8 months, PUBG has undergone significant battering from the competition as well as its own fans. But there's no doubt about it, it's still a huge juggernaut of a game. Let's delve into exactly what they've got planned and what they're going to be doing, and then we'll talk about the longevity of PUBG and whether or not this is really going to help the fan base reconnect with the game and maybe get it some brand new fans. With PUBG still not out of early access on Xbox One and missing real core components and features like the brand new Sanhok map on PC, there's definitely a lot of work to be done for both the PC version and the Xbox One version. So according to their website, it's going to be months long look at fixing the game. What is the Fix PUBG campaign? Our dev team is gearing up for battle. Our mission: destroy bugs, deliver long needed quality of life features and take PUBG to the next level by shipping fundamental performance improvements. Throughout the next 3 months, they're going to be dedicating the vast majority of their resources to addressing them issues with the game and implementing suggested improvements. As the campaign continues, we'll keep communicating specific detail about the upcoming work we're doing, along with estimates and timelines for delivery dates as well as any achievements we make. So basically they're going to be updating this all along for the next couple of months, telling us, showing us exactly when things are completed. As you can see, there's a lot of technical jargon here. Whether or not they're trying to flood us with all this or whether or not it's really relevant to the average player, I'm not too sure. But certainly it does indicate, or it does try to show, that they are looking at certain things and trying to do their best maybe on the long-term health of the game. What I do like about all this is that they're actually explaining stuff as well, how things become unstable and what goes wrong, and they've detailed what they're planning to do on it. And again, I'm not going to go into detail, I'm not going to read these whole pages. I will leave the link so you can go and check it out for yourselves. The thing is, how much of this could have maybe have been addressed in early access, considering that PUBG was in early access a relatively short amount of time because of the huge amount of attention, the money generated and the focus on the game. You would think they had enough people to really go into town and do this sort of stuff. Now I remember reading some interviews with Brendan Green at the time saying that you just can't chuck money at these things. You can't disrupt your whole teams just by hiring 100, 200 brand new people. And he is right, you certainly cannot just put more people onto something and expect it all just to run very smoothly. But I do question, with the amount of money they did make, remember PUBG has sold nearly 50 million copies. That requires a lot more than just simply saying we've got some issues, we'll get round to them. And considering it's now 8 months after leaving early access on the PC, I think for a lot of people it is just a little bit too late. They've been pretty vocal about how many people they've helped ban, using Steam's anti-cheat policies and going through their own systems and banning people. I have to say though, reading through some of this, it does just feel like dev speak. The bottom line is, cheating is still a massive issue in PUBG. And all the work they have been doing, considering the amount of players, it still might not be nowhere near enough. I do believe they'd banned nearly 100,000 players a few months ago. And when you think of the grand scheme of things, with 50 million players, 100,000 is not that many. It does say here that the ratio of suspected cheaters has decreased by more than 80% since Q1. So if that's true, then that is a significant, decrease on how many people could possibly be cheating. One thing to note that down here at the bottom, they are looking into legal action against cheating program developers and resellers. So bug fixes, there's a hell of a lot of stuff going on here, and I literally could be here for about 2 hours discussing it all. Now what I get from this is, though, this is what's been happening in this update here. So this is what's gone into pretty much yesterday or today's update by the time you've seen this video. You can see it's all rated on the 8th of the 8th. I get it, I totally get it. I like a lot of this stuff being here, and it's definitely a little bit more interesting to read or go through than maybe just having a bunch of patch notes listed one after the other. But just literally scrolling down, there is a hell of a lot of problems and issues. I will say this, there's one thing to note about these types of games and bug fixes. People do cry, fix your game, fix the bugs. And it's the same for the game that I cover most, which is obviously Ark Survival Evolved normally. In fact, they both use the Unreal Engine. I don't know if it's coincidence that there just seems to be so many issues, or whether it really is down to the understanding of the developers. But when you have online functionality and there's online games with so many different components, it really can be a case of just certain things not coming to light until you can stress test it. And with 50 million people possibly stress testing it at times, I guess they really will find lots more bugs and issues than any sort of testing team can. Also think obviously that when they update the game and add new things like new maps, new items, it obviously disrupts it. And that's not defending the devs, I still think there is definitely a quality control issue, and I don't think they probably do enough to test these out. But certainly with such a beast of a game, with so many possible abilities and the way that they're updating it, I think there's definitely going to be room for errors and issues. Conversely though, when you look at Fortnite, which uses exactly the same engine, it doesn't seem to have nowhere near as many bugs and issues reported as Pubg has, or something even like Ark Survival Evolved. So why is that the case? They both relatively have made a decent amount of money. They could probably both afford to get that testing done right, and it looks like Fortnite has actually pulled away and managed that. The fact that they're updating their game on a weekly basis and they're still managing to mostly get it okay. Now don't get me wrong, I know in Fortnite there's lots of complaints when the updates drop, certain bugs, certain issues, and there's frequently lots of times when they've updated the servers only to be told that there's still something wrong and it takes them maybe a day to get it right. But that game is still technically in early access, whereas Pubg and Ark Survival Evolved aren't, and they're still experiencing huge amount of bugs and issues. I guess the real test is to come back to Fortnite once it's left early access, which it needs to do soon, which is going to be a separate video, and determine what's happening with that. How is it going to go forward in the future when it can't rely on the protection of being under early access? And I think that's what makes these things different for Pubg as well, because it's not an early access. We are going to be scrutinising it, and we should. You shouldn't accept so many issues plaguing your game and such a big huge problem on your favourite, one of the biggest games going, not when it's left early access. Now some developers are trying to say that leaving early access doesn't really mean anything anymore, with online games always being an online service. It's more a case of just responding and not expecting everything to be perfect all the time. But I call bullshit on that, particularly when your game's been really successful and you've earned a hell of a lot of money from it. Yes, you can't chuck money at everything, but there certainly is a case for understanding you can spend a lot more money on testing and optimising these fixes. So that's the general state of Pubg as a whole, but let's take a look at the Xbox. And I have to say, I'm really disappointed. When you look at the road to 1.0, there is not much going on here. There is literally no attention being paid to the Xbox One branch of the fixes or issues. Yes, it does have a couple of issues fixed here: memory leakage and optimised memory usage, and the optimisation of Xbox during certain periods, e.g. multiple players fall into the same region, directly skydiving into a big city, zoning into smaller areas the blue zone closes in, and various close range combat situations. The biggest one of course is still the potato buildings. If you play Pubg on any sort of regular Xbox, you will know that the buildings are washed out and you can't access them, and it takes a few minutes for the levels to load. It isn't a problem on an Xbox X, but on the Xbox original one it is. And I'm just really disappointed to see only 2 real things have been listed on the Xbox version, considering it is probably the one that needs just as much work since it's still in early access. To only find 2 really implemented bug fixes is a real shame, considering how many players play Pubg on Xbox, which is in the millions, over 4 or 5 million by now. I think they probably could have done with dedicating a bit more time to this experience. Now obviously with 50 million players, the vast majority of people have played this game on PC. But how many players are actually playing it still right now? So when you think about when PlayerUnknown'S Battlegrounds launched, it didn't necessarily hit the heights straight away. I mean, it had a fantastic amount of players playing it in its first week, course, after that first month, it did then start skyrocketing, and it hit its peak on January the 1st of this year, pretty much the few weeks after it came out of early access. 3.25 million players were playing it at the same time. That is an incredible amount of people, and you can understand why there may have been server issues and problems. But in only 8 months, look how much it's dipped. We're nearly close to dropping under 1 million players. When you look at the last 7 days, it's clear to see how that works out. You can see the peak times that players play it, and it reaches well and above 1 million players. So anyway, what does this really say? It doesn't say PUBG is dying, because it's still doing better than the vast majority of games. In fact, for the last 30 days, it's been #1. So what does that really say? Well, not much I guess, other than that PlayerUnknown'S is still the #1 game to be played on Steam. And that's by a long shot. Dota 2 maybe could come close, somewhere close to doing it, but other than that, none of the games put together would even outrank PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds for players playing it. So is it too late for all these fixes? What can they really ultimately carry on doing? Well, maybe it's just that, maybe just doing what they're doing and fixing the game and getting it into a better top right situation before adding any more content. But that suspiciously sounds very much like what early access is. There's a big argument about how you perform in early access. Do you add loads of content and bug fix at the end, or do you bug fix as you go and get to a point with content where you just stop and you only focus on fixing stuff? So in a way, it's good that PUBG are focusing on this, but it still just feels like it's just been a little bit too late. Yes, it's still got players playing it, but nowhere near the amount of people that have actually bought the game. So where do they go from here? Right now on the statistics on Twitch, PUBG isn't #1. In fact, it's not even #2. It is #4. Well, maybe #3 if you discount in real life. Fortnite is the behemoth, and it is being streamed by a vast majority of people on Twitch. When you look at how many hours are being streamed by Fortnite streamers, 1.8 million in the last 7 days. Compare that to League of Legends, which is only 339,000 hours, and very similar score for PUBG as well. But the crucial thing is that not as many people are watching the actual PUBG being streamed. There's roughly the same amount of hours being streamed on Twitch, but League of Legends is getting an extra 10 million watch time minutes. So are we sick of watching PUBG? When you think about all the competitions that have been happening lately, it's still pretty big with the top streamers. Dr. Disrespect, Shroud and the usual suspects are all still playing it on a daily basis. But certainly it does indicate that people are just oversaturated with PUBG. And maybe that's the way it's going to be. It had its moments of shine during the early access period and over when it first launched. That was probably going to be the best time it's ever going to have, and it probably won't ever return. But when you consider League of Legends is a good few years old now, and it's still pulling in much more watch time than PUBG, it does make you worry whether or not Battlegrounds maybe one day will really crash and burn. If we take a more long-term look, and nothing much pretty changes. PUBG is still in 3rd place, so it's not the most watched content on Twitch. Now YouTube is a little bit more difficult to understand how many views and stuff's going on with it, with the replayability of videos and its live streaming not being nowhere near on level with Twitch. It doesn't really offer anything really conclusive. Other than knowing that Fortnite is now the most streamed or watched content on YouTube, followed by still Minecraft in 2nd place, I reckon PUBG is probably somewhere in that top 20 spot. But that's not definitely a guarantee. Maybe it is a little bit like Minecraft. With so much oversaturation, so many streamers and people playing it, it did get to a point where you had a Minecraft channel, your channel was dead. It didn't matter if you had 4 million subscribers, there was on a regular people with only 60,000 subs, 100,000 subs, probably beating you for views every single month. Because everyone that got hyped up with that Minecraft game when it first came out played it and grew up, and they decided to play something different. Now that's not taking away the fact that I am a grown adult and I still love playing Minecraft, but nowadays there is this huge conception, and it is true, that Minecraft really is the realm of kids. Now with Fortnite only really starting to get into the esports leagues, how is PUBG going to carry on maintaining the success? Rolling huge prize monies and sports and stuff like that is all good, but if people aren't watching it on Twitch, what is the sustainability in offering these huge tournaments? And if streamers aren't getting as much watch time playing PUBG and they get it more by playing Fortnite or any other game, then again, once they start losing them streamers, the most popular ones, it really may be a point of no return for PUBG. That's the worst case scenario. Battlegrounds has tried a number of different things in the last few months to remain relevant and gain the upper hand on any competition or cement itself as the number 2 Battle Royale experience. And it certainly is that. It is definitely number 2. There is nothing still that comes close to it. Even H1Z1's 10 million players on PS4 is obviously somewhere short of the 50 million playing PUBG. They've tried things like the event pass, which didn't go down too well. Players felt like it wasn't very much worth what you was putting into it to get the rewards. And overall, it certainly didn't make much of a positive impact in the community. Whereas Fortnite is pretty much a given that people will buy the Fortnite season pass because they want all the goodies, because they'll be playing it so much. So they've tried more content aping Fortnite, which is funny, as they were about to sue Fortnite for copying them in terms of making the game. But what about what else they would be doing? What about new content, new maps? Sanhok has only really just reached the point where it's available for PC properly, and Miramar only came out on Xbox a couple months ago. So there's some work to do to get parity across both platforms, but where does PUBG go next? With 3 maps, they've got the most choice out of any Battle Royale game out there. So in terms of how you want to play your game, it's pretty good. And with PUBG's different events they're trying pretty much every week, they're pretty decent as well in terms of mixing up the core gameplay and offering something a bit different. But it just doesn't seem to be hitting the mark as much as you hear about Fortnite's content updates. Maybe that's because sometimes PUBG is just still a bit too slow. With its focus on big monthly updates fixing stuff, it just isn't keeping up with the same runaway success of Fortnite and that constant need for brand new content. Definitely with PUBG and Battlegrounds in a whole really being quite a boring game when you think about it. It's the same map, it's the same action you do every single time. You land on a map, you kill players, you try to be the last one standing. Take any other game mode, any other game, and you have some ways to differentiate or veer from the path. Even a simple platformer will have side quests, it may have completion quests, time trials, and then think about open world games with all its side quests and side missions, maybe different events, silly things you can do in it like GTA with racing. But Battle Royals just don't have that. And so they constantly need this feed of new content to keep players interested, because underneath it all, you're playing just the same game mode every minute of your game time doing it. So, Fix PUBG is certainly an interesting initiative, and it's certainly welcomed by the big community that still love PUBG. And that community isn't just dying, there are still lots of people enjoying it. But certainly nowhere near the amount of people that used to, and I definitely feel like it's probably just been a little bit too late. Where can they really go from here? Maybe keep adding more content, maybe being a bit more transparent about what it does. And I really do think going free to play could be the future of PUBG. It's got a premium product, it's made millions, but if it went free to play, I really do think once they've got through these maybe fixes and optimised the game as best as it could be, possibly even when they're about to release it out of early access on Xbox, that could be the perfect time to go free to play and we will have an attempt at wrestling some form of ground back on Fortnite. I'm sure them executives are looking at their game wondering, we're okay, we're sitting on our hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars, Fortnite can keep it. But that's not necessarily true. They want all the money, as evidenced by the fact they did try suing Fortnite or were about to sue Epic Games earlier on this year. So there you go, what do you guys think about that? PUBG isn't dying, but it certainly has slowed down and it's maybe not progressed as far as it could have. The potential for it definitely didn't reach its summit. And that sounds crazy considering how many copies they've sold, but it really could have been a huge massive force. Instead, it feels like more of a flash in the pan. I really do think maybe in a year's time, unless they drastically improve PUBG experience for its long-time players, we won't be talking about PUBG anymore. So there we go, that is the Access Show done and dusted. Make sure you hit like on the like button, make sure you've got notifications turned on. Every day, Monday to Friday, 5 PM, a brand new Access Show. Sometimes looking at in-depth games, sometimes looking just at general game news or updates about your favourite games that I'm playing and you're playing. So until next time, Rat Bags, I will see you later.